Okay, today we're going to look at the prompt, the Madonna prompt. Hegemony portrayed express yourself and justify my love. Well, I'm going to only address express yourself video. Now, the prompt, and which is the essay, prompt that comes from the essay guidelines, states, many cultural analysts say Madonna is the picture of the 1980s era of greed. She embodies a quintessential negative association of women: greedy, manipulative, sexually deviant, and a gold digger. She confronts the hegemonic ideology of women. What are these ideologies, and how does she reflect them? You will use sources to quote and support analysis. Now, hegemony. You have to understand what hegemony is. You should have looked up that word if you don't know what hegemony is. Hegemony is power. Hegemony is control. Hegemony is authority. Okay? So, how is she reflecting power, women control, women authority, women dominance? Okay? How is she addressing that within the video? And hopefully you watched it, and you can as well as address other ideas of semiotics that's being reflected within the video. And in the video, you saw these gears, you saw the steam, you saw the men's muscles, and that is power, that is control. So this entire video is all about power and control. You also address the idea of incarnation, the incarnations that she becomes. You see her being or turning into or being about 5 different types of women. We see her in the opening video standing above sitting on the swan, looking down or yelling out to women culture, come on girls, do you believe in love? Because I got something to sing about it. So here she's yelling out to women, and that is one kind of incarnation. Then we saw the again, the gears, the steam, the power, the control, what the factories reflect. Then we see the woman in the green dress. And who is she? What is she? Now, if you notice where her position is, you always see her, Madonna, or a woman, the incarnation, up here, always up here. You never see her below man. You always see her, in the skyline or in her penthouse above the city. She's not below anything. Then you also see her holding that black cat, and that black cat is an idea of what? Power. What does that cat do to that man? She sends that cat out, and that man goes and retrieves him, or that cat goes and retrieves the man and brings the man back to her in the end of the video. Notice that. And what is the semiotics of that cat? What does that cat do, and what does that cat mean? Okay. Then we see another kind of incarnation is when she is with her hair blonde and bobbed, and she's wearing lingerie, and that is another kind of power. Okay, she's using lingerie dress as a form of power. Okay, how clothing is reflected as a form of power. So keep that in mind, because those are main ideas. I want to go over the main ideas in a few minutes. I'm still stating main ideas. So we see her reflecting that, and as well as you see her eyes emerge in the steam. So what does that mean? Her eyes emerge in the steam, watching over him. What is she? What is she in that steam? A god? A deity? Watching over that man? Being this omniscient point of view over that man. Okay? Watching him. That's a form of power, form of control. Then we see her again, dressed now totally different incarnation, dressed as a man, wearing this suit. And what do we call that suit? What do we call a man's suit? The power suit. She's wearing the power suit. Attorneys go into court with their power suit. She's wearing her power suit. She looks like a man. She's cross-dressing. She's reflecting herself as this power image. Then what does she do? She um, grabs her crotch and points her hand like a gun. Oh, what is this? Gun, power control, grabbing her crotch, and we saw everyone saw back in the 80s and 90s. Everyone was grabbing their crotch. But what does that mean? There's semiotics there. Okay, it means something. So keep that in mind. Then we see her as another kind of incarnation. Here she is strapped down, or not even strapped down. She's laying on the bed in shackle around her neck, holding a chain. And I ask you, how is that power and control? It is a form of power and control. She is holding her own chain. She didn't you didn't see man put her into that chain. She put herself into that chain. She is in control of her own sexuality. She is in control of her own power. Okay? Also, keep that in mind. Hegemony? I think so. Then we have her, we see her crawling sitting there on a chaise lounge, like she's a boss, lady, like kind of like a gangster in a way. And then we see her crawling on the floor, reflecting a very animalistic image. Animalistic. Wow. A cat she's acting like a cat, crawling. Well, they're animalistic. Animalistic is, and the idea of power is also meshed within that. Okay? So all of these different women are a form of hegemony, reflecting an idea of power, control. And then in the end, you see her, the man comes to her in the video, and he wraps her in the sheet, and she was gonna kiss him or whatever, and you see them lean on the ground, and she sits on his lap, and where is she? She's still on top. She's never on the bottom. Okay? So keep that in mind. So the main ideas for this prompt could be the power of self-expression, female sexual agency and control, women empowerment, self-worth, speaking one's own mind, the symbolism, the semiotics of the cat, the factory, the steam, the all those other things there. The remote control the man was holding to make the music box turn. The female gaze, making how she looks at man. Okay, it's not remember the male gaze. You know how men look at women? No, this is how she looks at man. How man is now a sexual object. Independence and dependency, self-worth. Okay, and how is she reflecting hegemony? Through setting and proportion. She's always on top. Through sexuality, she's chained up. She's reflecting herself as this deity, this god. She's dressed in a costume, the lingerie. Cross-dressing as a man, a power suit, self-control. And the animalistic, the wild animal with power. So, again, keep that in mind. Okay, those are main ideas that I just stated. Those are main ideas for this prompt. So you ask yourself that question. She confronts the hegemonic ideology of women. What are these ideologies, and how does she reflect them? So you ask yourself that question to formulate your thesis statement for the paper. Okay, I'm not going to give you a thesis statement. I'm not going to give you an example. You can think of it on your own. Have a good day. I'll see you soon.